Alright, and welcome to episode 15 of What is Hitman Roulette. Today we're going to be talking about Dubai, the first map of Hitman 3. This is an interesting map. It definitely feels like a one-target map despite having two targets on the map. The disguises are all more or less very easy to get. The target isolations are kind of a joke. They kind of work in tandem with one another to make it feel like there's only one target, because if you isolate one target, then you're pretty much isolating the next one immediately after. And the two targets during the isolation period are just a couple of feet from one another. There really is not much to it. There's not much traversal involved in this map. You're really going to only be using about 30 to 50% of the map from roulette spin to roulette spin. So honestly, I do prefer this map over New York for roulettes, and I definitely prefer it over Dartmoor, but there's definitely an argument to be made here for this map being the third worst map in terms of roulette as far as the trilogy is concerned. So it definitely has its problems as far as roulette is concerned, but really it's a fun map in its own little way. It's definitely a nice warm-up map. This is definitely a map I would recommend newer players start in to get your feet wet, just to get an idea of how to do roulettes, because everything about this map is extremely forgiving. All the melee kills are pretty much right near the targets are right by each other, the disguises are all very easy to get. The starting locations are all very forgiving starting locations, almost all of them are viable. Even the harder kills on the targets, like drowning, electrocution, falling object, live kills, all that stuff, loud ballistics, none of them really pose any challenge whatsoever. This is easily one of the easiest maps in the trilogy for roulettes, no question about it. In my opinion, it's one of the most boring maps for roulettes. I definitely don't prefer this map over the majority of the trilogy. It's definitely bottom of the barrel for me. But I still like it, like I said, better than New York and Dartmoor for the fact that it has two targets, even though it feels like it's only one. As far as the Little Six maps are concerned, this one is definitely included in that category, but Paris, Hokkaido, and Wilton Creek just take massive shits all over this map. For sure, there's no question about it. I think the devs did a fantastic job on this map when it comes to aesthetics. Aesthetically, it's very pleasing on the eyes. It's a gorgeous map to look at. The color scheme with the gold everywhere, and the skylighting effects with the sun shining through the windows, the glare effects are kind of cool. Like, everything about this map visually is pretty stunning. And then you dive into it and realize, holy shit, there's nothing to this one. So it's a glorified tutorial mission for sure, which is very forgivable because it is the first map of Hitman 3. And it's a great map to get your feet wet no matter what you're doing in Hitman. So here we go. We're going to head into the starting locations now, and let's see what we got. So the starting locations in this map are all pretty viable for different spins depending on the spin. The top two starting locations guaranteed, the ones you're going to be seeing the most from spin to spin, is definitely Event Security and Art Crew. Both of these starting locations are fantastic. Event Security allows you to start in a security guard outfit, which is fantastic. It allows you free access to a banana, which is always good shit because it's a free KO. And there's a loud pistol right in front of you at the start of this spot as well, which is fantastic for getting the skydiving suit disguise, which we'll talk about a bit later. Art Crew is more or less the same starting position as Event Security. Honestly, I would only choose Art Crew if Art Crew came up in a spin, because it is a fantastic starting spot, but Event Security just is slightly better for the fact that you do get to start as a guard, and you have immediate access to stuff like the banana and the loud pistol. Penthouse Staff is fantastic for a starting spot if you require Famous Chef to be in the spin. Oftentimes you'll see Carl Ingram consumed poison in a spin. Penthouse Staff is a fantastic starting spot for that kill. And if you see Penthouse Staff turn up in a spin, there's a good chance that starting as the Penthouse Staff is the way to go. Event Staff is probably the most obsolete starting position, and definitely the one you're going to see the least of, considering it just provides really no benefit whatsoever. The Event Staff disguise is quite easy to get, but where you start as the event staff, there are quite a few enforcers in the area. As an event staff, the disguise isn't very good in general, and even if it pops up in a spin, you're almost guaranteed to be better off starting as event security for sure. It's not a bad starting location, it's just obsolete compared to the other ones, considering how good they are. Of course, the suit start is solid. This is the only suit start in the map. It's basically the default start if you consider it the default start. Technically, the default starting location is the skydiving suit start, but that's more of a story-based starting location. There's a story mode starting position for each map in Hitman 3, unlike the other two games before it, sort of adding a little bit new flavor for the newer players if they want to do things a little more casually, but for the most part, you're never going to really use the story mode starting position for any of the maps beyond your first time entering the mission ever. So keep that in mind, and let's move on to the target isolations, such as they are. So for the target isolations, there really aren't any individual isolations here. You're going to be isolating one and then immediately the other right after. If you were to start, say, event security or another starting location similar to that. You basically head through the front doors right in front of the starting position, and you grab the crowbar directly in front of you, and you head up the stairs that are directly in front of you from that point. On top of the scaffolding, there is a tarp over a railing that you're going to climb on top of that tarp there and head over the ledge just ahead of you. Up here is where Carl Ingram is, and he's surrounded by 4 guards, 2 penthouse guards, and 2 Ingram's bodyguards. From here, you're going to KO the penthouse guard in front of you with a crowbar, whatever melee item you have, and the 2 Ingram's bodyguards in front of you are going to be tranked one after the other. Be careful with this isolation here, because you can be ripped if one of the guys sees you. You're not allowed to be up here in event security disguise, or really any disguise that isn't famous chef, penthouse guard, penthouse staff, Ingram's bodyguard, or the helicopter pilot. But once those 2 Ingram's bodyguards are tranked, you're going to knock out the final penthouse guard directly in front of you and then KO Ingram. Simple as that. He is now isolated. No one is going to see his body. There is another penthouse guard directly ahead of you and one sleeping in the side room there, but neither of them have eyes, so you should be totally fine here as long as you don't make any crazy noise. Get back downstairs to where Stuyvesant is now walking with his bodyguard, and once you've gotten through the doors downstairs here, immediately KO Stuyvesant's guard, then KO Stuyvesant right in front of him. From that point, the event security guy that is guarding Stuyvesant dropped a silenced pistol, so take full advantage of that, pick up the pistol, and then shoot the crates directly in front of you, just past the elevator, so that the event security ahead of you does not turn around and rip you by seeing these unconscious bodies. He's going to be distracted by that distraction shot, and at that point, once he's standing right in front of the grates, head up to him, KO him, and KO the girl right behind you. She's one of the maintenance workers. And that's that for the Stuyvesant and Ingram isolation for any starting location that is not the suit. Like I said, very easy isolations. It feels like there's only one target because of how easy this isolation method is and how quickly you isolate both targets back to back, but this does actually take a little bit of practice, so you're going to need to spend some time on this if you want to get it quick as possible. If you start suit, it's a little more difficult as Ingram doesn't stay put until the 3-minute and 30-second mark like he does with every other starting spot. If you start suit, he basically starts moving within the first minute, so you need to get up there pretty quick. You're going to head up the stairs and you're going to take a left and climb the vine up here. Basically the same method as if you were to do a Silent Assassin suit only run. Once you've climbed the vine, go through the side doors to your left, and there will be the 2 locked doors to your left here that you need a key hacker or a silenced SMG or something to shoot open the doors with. Keep in mind that if you shoot a little bit too early before the event security guy that's patrolling the area is in his spot beside the elevator there, you will be spotted by that guy. He will rip you, for he does hear the gunshots if you're a little bit too close to him when you shoot the doors open, so be careful of that. Get up the stairs here after you shoot the camera, and you're going to use your trank on the penthouse guard here first, then KO the penthouse guard behind you, and trank one of Ingram's bodyguards directly ahead of you, preferably the one that's furthest away from you. Then KO the final Ingram's bodyguard that's closest to you, and by that time, Ingram should be turned around and he will notice that you're KOing everybody, but it's fine. Just KO him. He can make all the noise he wants. Nobody's going to hear him. It's fine. KO him, swap into an Ingram's bodyguard disguise or a penthouse guard disguise, and get down the stairs back to Stuyvesant. And then from this point here, the exact same method is used for Stuyvesant that you would do for any other starting position. You just need to be a little quick here. There was one major annoyance with the Stuyvesant isolation, though, as his guard likes to take his sweet-ass time sometimes. It's complete RNG. Sometimes they are neck and neck right beside each other, and other times his guard is a mile away from Stuyvesant. This completely depends on what the hell the game wants to do that day. So, if you're lucky and you got the good RNG for the Stuyvesant isolation, you should be able to KO the guard and then KO Stuyvesant right after that before Stuyvesant goes through those doors straight ahead of him. Rinse and repeat the same method you already used for the other starting locations to get the rest of the guards down here, and you should be good to go. Both targets isolated yet again. And that's really all there is to it for the target isolations. Very, very simple, but does take a little bit of practice to nail very quickly. Alright, moving on to the quote-unquote fun shit in Dubai. We're going to talk about the disguises now, starting with the art crew. Now, there is a side room that is just beside where you would KO Stuyvesant downstairs, and you're going to enter that side room and cause a throwing distraction for the art crew guy that's just around the corner from where you are, just outside of these doors here. Cause a throwing distraction, and as soon as he comes around to investigate, you should be able to take him out with a corner subdue, or by throwing something at his head and then dumping him in the box there right nearby, and swapping disguises. That's all there is to it. This is definitely the easiest art crew disguise to get if you can't start in the disguise. Otherwise, I'd say, if the spin permits, start as art crew every time you see it come up in a spin. We're going to be firing these ones out pretty damn quick. The event security disguise is very simple. Either start in the disguise if the spin permits, or get one of the guys that you KO when you go to isolate Stuyvesant. That's all there is to it. No need to explain anything further. You have 2 guards to choose from down here. you should be good to go. Event staff is just hanging out in the laundry room. The easiest one to get is just down there. You can actually put an agency pickup in there if you don't know where it is, but it's just down the first set of stairs right in the room where you would isolate Stuyvesant. Straight ahead of you, there's an event staff guy just chilling out in that room. You can just KO him with any means necessary, take his disguise, and get the hell out of there. There is a box you can dump him in right beside you there, but you don't need to if you don't plan on opening the side door here in this room, because nobody goes in this room besides Stuyvesant if you were to get him sick or something. So feel free to leave him here. You're good to go. Carry on with the map. The famous chef is one of the more tricky disguises to get in the map, if you can consider anything in this map tricky. All you need to do is head up to where the top area of the map is, in the penthouse section. You can get up there and go through these doors that are locked here by shooting them open with an SMG or an assault rifle or something that's silenced. You can also use a key hacker for this door here. Once you pass this door, get up the stairs and use your instinct. To your left, there should be a penthouse staff guy just chilling in a room right here that you can enter, knock out the penthouse staff guy with any means necessary, and then open the side door here and cause a thorough distraction. That's going to be investigated by the famous chef, so dump the penthouse staff guy into the freezer in here and then wait for the famous chef to appear. Once he does, KO him by any means necessary and take his disguise. You don't need to put him in the freezer, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to, obviously. That's all there is to it. Pretty easy disguise to get, even though it's quote-unquote one of the trickier disguises. Alternatively, you can also start as penthouse staff and go down the stairs and then just trank the famous chef from the corner of the room down the stairs, but that's a little trickier of a method, not really that necessary, and you can always use the snail on him as well. There's multiple ways to get this guy, but this is the most practical way without any resources. The helicopter pilot is just located outside of the same floor that you would isolate Ingram on. So if Ingram is already isolated, he should be on your left side, and you should be heading straight towards this elevator that's up here. Pass the elevator on your right, and keep going straight out the doors here that lead to the outside of the building. Take a right, and head up these little stairs here, and you'll see the helicopter pilot just chilling, obviously, right in front of the helicopter. This is a unique disguise, but unlike a lot of other unique disguises in the game, this one's extremely easy to get. All you need to do is just KO this guy by any means necessary. You don't need to trank him. You can just leave him right here. You can do anything you want at this point. Just leave his body here, take the disguise, and get the hell out of here. That's all there is to it. There are two wandering penthouse guards right beside you, but neither one of them is going to see the body in this location, so as long as you don't make any noise here, you should be fine and the body will never be discovered. Ingram's bodyguard is again another joke disguise to get on the map, as there are the two guards that you would just KO when you go to isolate Ingram. That's all there is to it. Just grab one of the guards here. There's two to choose from, like I said, so grab the disguise and get the hell out of there. It's probably the best disguise in the map, too, so the fact that it's this easy to get, that just goes along perfectly with the trend that everything in Dubai is easy to get in general. The kitchen staff is just downstairs in the kitchen, obviously. You're going to head down the stairs as if you just isolated Stuyvesant and go past the laundry room where the event staff disguise is located that we talked about earlier. You're going to keep going down the stairs and take a right all the way around the corners until you see a door that says kitchen on it. From there, you're going to see two NPCs inside, one male, one female. You're going to KO them both and take the male's kitchen staff disguise. Now, you can leave the bodies here without boxing them just because the spins in this map are always so super quick. However, there are wandering NPCs, so if you're in the map for about 10 minutes plus, the bodies could be potentially found and you could rip. But I mean, on average, nobody spends more than like 7 minutes tops in Dubai, so you should be fine. The easiest maintenance staff to get on the entire map, I would say, is right up where you isolate Ingram. There is a side room right by where the server room is that you would know if you had done any mission stories in this map before. He's just chilling out, investigating some bullshit. All you need to do is KO him from behind and dump him in the box or leave him here as nobody else comes into this room at all. Take his disguise and get the hell out. This room is also a soundproof room if you have everybody else upstairs KO'd that you would normally KO to isolate Ingram. So it's a great spot to drag Ingram if you need to do a loud ballistic kill, for example. The penthouse guards are exactly like the Ingram's bodyguard and the event security disguises earlier mentioned. They are just automatically knocked out when you go to isolate the targets, so you've got two to choose from up where you isolate Ingram. Take one of their disguises and get the hell out of there. That's all there is to it. These are probably the only ones you're ever going to go for, just like the Ingram's bodyguard and the event security guys I mentioned before. The guard disguises in this map, like I mentioned previously, are complete jokes to get. There's nothing to it. For the penthouse staff, I mentioned him previously when we were talking about how to get the famous chef disguise. You're going to want to get up to where you knocked out that penthouse staff guy there and just take his disguise. That's all there is to it. You already knocked him out. I already showed you how to knock him out. You can leave him here. Nobody comes into this room unless you cause a throwing distraction for the famous chef, for example, so you're good to go. Otherwise, you can start penthouse staff. It's not a bad starting location, but it doesn't come up as often as event security or art crew. The skydiving suit is easily my favorite disguise on the map to get and to wear for any spins because it just happens to be the most interesting. It's fairly similar to the knight's armor in Scale or the stalker in Bangkok, or the prisoner in Marrakesh, as it is illegal to wear for certain kill conditions for the targets. Those kill conditions, though, only include the live kills, like injected poison, drowning, and fiber wire. Any kill where you're allowed to isolate the targets and then come back and kill them later is completely viable for this disguise and completely legal. The way that you would get to this disguise is you would basically start event security and grab the loud pistol that I mentioned previously in the video, that's directly in front of the starting location. Head through the main doors and then get to the elevator shaft and head down the pole of the elevator shaft that is located where Stuyvesant would be isolated. Once you've reached the bottom floor of the elevator shaft, climb up and go through the doors right in front of you. Then pull out your loud pistol and do one shot to panic everybody around you. The disguise is just around the corner here. Take the disguise after you've done the shot and get the hell out of there. Take a right through the doors, back around again to where the elevator shaft is. And be very careful here, because once you're down into the elevator shaft, you can easily be ripped as everyone is yet again enforcer for you, even though they are panicking via the gunshot. So just be careful not to get ripped here doing this, and you should be fine. Climb the pole back up to where the targets are, and that's all there is to it. This disguise seems to be a little tricky for a lot of players, for sure, and it is probably the hardest disguise to get in the map, as it does require some shenanigans to get, but with this method you will almost never rip, and the disguise becomes a complete cakewalk to get, just like everything else in the map. And finally, the assassin disguise. Now, if you were to start suit, for example, you're going to head up the stairs and take a right around the corner here in the top of the building. From here, keep going up these stairs here and keep going to the right. You're going to see a guy and a girl having a conversation with a couple of event securities just hanging out on some stairs nearby them, and to your left will be an NPC just sitting on a bench. The guy talking to the girl is the assassin, so the guy sitting on the bench needs to be ran into at full speed so that you bump him and cause a distraction for him, and then from here you can just do a throwing distraction nearby that NPC, but right behind him, kind of near the ground area here. The reason that you bump into that NPC there is because you only want to attract the assassin. He's going to be too distracted wondering what the hell that bump was for, so the throw distraction is going to be investigated by the assassin himself. Otherwise, the NPC sitting on the bench would be the one to enforce the throw distraction, and that's just annoying. Now, you can't just wait it out and let the assassin and the girl have their conversation, but if you want to get them a little bit faster, this is the way to go. Once the assassin investigates the throw, you're going to need to go around the corner here right behind where these bushes are in this little crevice area here. You can't actually do a chain lure here for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think this area is a little bit bugged for that, so no big deal. That's fine. Just wait until the assassin loses interest in the first throw and then cause another throw from behind the scaffolding here, and the assassin will come back around the corner and investigate that throw. From there, just KO him by any means necessary and leave him in the bush here. His body will never be found as long as you don't make any stupid noise. Definitely not a difficult disguise to get, but just because of how out of the way this disguise is compared to the other disguises on the map, I would say this may be the second hardest disguise to get on the map, or at least the second most annoying, if not the famous chef. It's one of those. It's either famous chef or the assassin. Both of them can be annoying from time to time, but neither of them are really all that difficult to get. Okay, and that does it for the disguises. Like I said before, they're not very difficult to obtain. Even the two more tricky disguises on the map to get are quite easy and forgiving, and there really isn't much to them. It's unfortunate that there aren't very many disguises. There's a total of 12, which in a map that's already quite small is a little bit of a letdown, but it is what it is. They're still very much enjoyable to learn how to obtain each and every one of them, just like every other map we've talked about so far. Disguises are always a good time. Anyways, let's move on to the most likely extremely fast spin demonstration. It's Dubai, so I'm expecting it to be quite quick. I have not recorded the vocal commentary yet for the spin demonstration because I haven't gotten the footage for that yet. We're going to check it out together and see what it is for the first time together, so let's check it out right now. Okay, and for the spin we have Carl Ingram must be killed with a loud sniper rifle dressed in skydiving suit, and Marcus Stuyvesant must be killed with a falling object dressed as the assassin. So the two trickier disguises to get on the map, I would say, and two of the trickier kill methods as well, so this is going to be a lot of fun. I love seeing these types of spins come up for these videos. It's always nice to see interesting ones, especially on maps like Dubai, where 90% of spins are actually not that interesting, so it is very cool to see stuff like this pop up. This is actually shaping up to be a bit of a longer spin. Most spins are sub 4 in Dubai, guaranteed. This one looks like it's probably going to be about a 6-7 minute spin. I'm opting to start as event security. I'm going to bring with me a calmer, a loud sniper rifle, a key hacker, and a snail for shits and giggles. This should be a one and done. Let's see how we do. Alright, so we're gonna grab this loud pistol right off the bat. again, like I mentioned previously, the loud pistol is crucial to getting the skydiving suit. And then we're going to grab this crowbar and we're going to head up to Ingram the way that I described in the isolation portion of the video. Same method as always. This is a super consistent way to get Ingram. You don't run the risk of running into anybody who could potentially rip you getting up here doing it like this. There are no cameras to worry about up here like this. It's a super awesome method. Free access. Excuse me. Fucking gross. Stuff in my lungs from not smoking all my life. So knock out these dudes as always. Grab the SMG here, because why the hell not? And then take out Ingram, and here you go. Boom. So Ingram's already isolated. Perfect. Easy peasy squeezy lemons. And now we're going to get down to Stuyvesant and do the exact same shit. So you've already seen how to do this method. This is a really easy double isolation method. There's nothing really to this one. Take out these guys. So first do the guard, obviously. Now it's sweat. There you go. Stuyvesant is K the Fudge Ode. And then we're going to pick up the pistol and shoot the crates. Just like we always do. This causes a distraction for this advanced security. Again, I've already described this in the video, but this is Dubai, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way to play the map. This is pretty much what you're going to be seeing every single time you play this map, unless the spin comes up as like maybe drowning or a live kill. But even live kills, it's still going to be pretty much the same. So yeah, just get used to these methods. From here, I'm actually going to use my snail. I brought it for shits and gigs, but it's actually coming in handy in this position because the fall happens to be falling, or the kill happens to be falling object. So I use a snail to KO those pricks, and then the art crew guy is KO'd here as well. Made sure that he ran ahead of me a little bit there so that he's not in the way of where I'm going to be putting Stuyvesant's body. So I don't run the risk of killing him with a falling object as well. Put Stuyvesant right where that gold plate thing is on the wall. That's a good reference point to really know exactly where to put the body in case you need to do falling object. This exact same position works for Carl Ingram as well, so you're good to go if you leave his body there. And now we're gonna go get the skydiving suit. It's funny how we're Ingram's bodyguard right now, which is the best disguise in the map, and we're going to go get the shittiest disguise in the map. Kind of like how we did things in Marrakesh. So there's the bullet distraction, or the gunshot herd, whatever you want to call it. And there is the disguise swap. There's a bit of whoosh going on, but not enough to rip me because everybody's too busy panicking their dicks off. So I almost got whooshed again there. That was pretty rough. It's just the way it is. This disguise is trash, so you just kind of have to be careful about this. You know, do controlled whooshing. Make sure you don't get whooshed the whole time. If you're getting whooshed, stay put behind something that's going to block your view so that you're not going to get completely ripped here. We're going to head through these doors. This is why I picked up the SMG from the bodyguards up here, so I can open those doors easily. Although there is the ladder, I could just climb up in the other room since the other NPCs in the side room there are KO'd, but it's all good. I'm swapping it to Ingram's bodyguard just in case here. I don't need to. You can honestly go get the sniper rifle, which is in the penthouse storage here. Penthouse supply area, whatever the fuck it's called. I didn't need to switch into this disguise to grab the sniper rifle, but I didn't want to risk ripping because it's friggin' Dubai. You rip in Dubai, that's some embarrassing shit. So I opted to just make things a little bit safer. And I grabbed the disguise and grabbed the sniper rifle just in case there was any whoosh going on by that one penthouse guard over there. But there isn't because he's blind as tits, so no big deal. We got the sniper rifle, which is loud. I'm doing the Lancer here for this for no reason, other than the fact that it's a loud sniper rifle. And we swap back into the skydiving suit and bring in Ingram into the soundproof room. Now, it's not soundproof yet, because we still got to KO this bitch. Okay, now it's soundproof. So, shoot Ingram. And that's the kill. Loud sniper rifle, skydiving suit done for Carl Ingram. We're going to switch back into an Ingram's bodyguard disguise and head on over to the assassin now, because that's the next step here. We've already got Stuyvesant positioned under the falling object. We already have Ingram dead, and all of that is taken care of. All the NPCs in this area are already KO'd. So really the last thing we need to do is set up the assassin, and he is pretty annoying to get sometimes. Like I mentioned earlier, he's a bit of a bitch, and you're about to see some uncooperative prick action happen from this bitch sitting on this friggin' bench here. So I bump into him, which is the method you're supposed to do here, and then I do the blah 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 distraction, and for some reason the little bitch here that sits on the bench still went to investigate it. So that sucks ass. It does happen from time to time if you throw the object that you're throwing for the distraction incorrectly or wonky or whatever the fuck. So you just kind of have to be diligent with this throw. So I bumped into him again. We caused the other throw distraction. This time we got the attention of the assassin, which is super nice. It's funny because by that time I might as well have just waited for them to finish their conversation and just lured the assassin with one throwing distraction because, yeah, I mean, I think I still saved a couple of seconds here by doing the bump distraction thing, but it really doesn't matter. There isn't really, we're not on a time crunch here. Everything is already set up, like I said, so all we need is this disguise and we're good. So there is the assassin getting KO'd. There's me getting the disguise. And now it's just as if you're starting suit at this point. You're going to go over to the pretty much default location and you're going to climb the vine back up because it's the only way to access where we need to go to get to Stuyvesant in this disguise. Because as the assassin disguise is more or less the suit. There really isn't much difference. I think you are allowed in the penthouse area in this disguise, but you have to get frisked and all this trash. So it's not much better than the suit really at all, especially considering when the hell do you ever go in the penthouse area unless you're getting penthouse staff or a famous chef. So yeah, pretty wasted part of the map, but that's okay, no big deal. It's Dubai. So from this point we're just going to shoot this speaker here, and it's a bit of a bitch to shoot from where I'm standing, but I'm a dumbass, so I didn't decide to move back a little bit. There we go, move back, and boom. That's the kill on Stuyvesant, falling object as the assassin. And that's it. There's the exit right here with the elevator shaft. And that's it. Look at that shit. Well, that was probably one of those freaking longest spins I've ever seen in Dubai. No doubt about it. That spin was crazy long. 6 minutes, 47 seconds. That's fucking the tits right there. Yeah, 47, good shit. Anyway, so here you go. Sign assassins, green guns, friggin' 5 stars, we got all this stuffs. We got, you know, it was a pretty damn good spin. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoy skydiving suit. The assassin's a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, but it was still a fun spin regardless. Falling object is nice to show off for this video. So now you know how to do that kill if you guys needed to know that. And yeah, good shit. Very, very long Dubai. Don't expect that to be that long ever again. It's definitely going to be a sub 4 spin from now on for pretty much every other Dubai spin that you would see. So, good shit. Alright, and that about wraps it up for Dubai. So, great map for newcomers. Fantastic way to start your roulette journey. If you're a newcomer to the whole roulette aspect of Hitman, this is a good map to jump in and get your feet wet, although I am an advocate for starting in the bigger maps. If you want to get good at roulette fast, or really if you want to get good at anything fast in life, just jump in with both feet and challenge yourself. If you want to learn how to play guitar, screw trying to learn how a G chord is and a C chord is. Just jump in and start learning some Megadeth songs. You'll be frickin' pro in no time, you know what I mean? So if you're going to jump into roulette, you're better off starting with maps like Santa Fortuna, Mumbai, Berlin, maps that are going to be very challenging for the brain right off the bat. Dubai is a fantastic warm-up mission. It'll definitely be interesting your first time playing it, and I recommend it to newcomers, like I said. However, once you've done it once, maybe twice, I would suggest, like I said, to move on to the bigger maps and test your abilities there. I feel, personally, that too many people like to sit in the little 6 maps or the easier maps for roulettes and just get really, really good at those, and pretty much ignore the rest of the maps that are very much more challenging than what these maps have to offer. And that can kind of make your performance in Roulette Rivals or other tournaments like it kind of suffer just because you've ignored the really challenging aspects of roulette and have only stuck to what you know and what you're comfortable with. Which is fine. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. No problems here. But if you want to compete and you want to get better, I don't recommend staying in maps like Dubai or Dartmoor or New York for very long. Anyways, next time we are going to actually be entering the map of Dartmoor, which is by far, without a doubt, the worst map in the trilogy as far as roulette spins are concerned. That's going to be a hell of a short video and very much not fun to make, but there's light at the end of the tunnel because not long after that we have the greatest map in the trilogy, Berlin. That's coming up pretty damn soon. I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, next time we'll see you in shitty little Dartmoor. And until then, keep rocking out and keep gaming.